If you're planning to go out on your own and open your own law firm, there are some things that you need to know that I feel like you're not going to learn in a CLE, you're not going to learn in a book. So today we're going to cover like my top 5 of what I wish someone had told me before I went out on my own and opened my own law firm. Now, I still would have went solo even if I had known these things beforehand, but it would have been nice to have had like a heads up because some of these things I just couldn't have even like really understood or comprehended before I went out on my own and experienced it firsthand. And I think even when I was experiencing it, I didn't realize until the hindsight to say, oh, like that's what that was. That's what was going on. A lot of lessons learned the hard way that I want to help you to avoid, right? You're going to have some lessons that you're going to learn when you go out on your own. But if I can help you avoid a few, fast track a few things, that's what I'm here to do. And we are in the same space, but I am totally redoing my office here. So if you've seen prior videos, I have completely like flipped things around in the room. I don't know what I'm doing with this wall behind me. I cannot figure that out. Part of me wants to be like beige and aesthetic and, that vibe. But then the other part of me is like, but I love hot pink and I love leopard print. So trying to figure that out. So right now you get nothing. You get nothing behind me until I figure out what we're doing. So, okay, let's get into these top 5 things. Let's start with number 1. And I have mentioned this before, so if you've been watching, this is not a secret. You've heard me say this before, but I think it is the number one thing that I had to wrap my head around, and that so many of my law firm owners have to wrap their heads around when they go out on their own, is that you are not just a lawyer anymore. And lawyering is going to be, when I say the smallest part of your day, I mean the smallest part of your day. Maybe like 10% lawyering. Like you are so busy running the business, doing the marketing, handling HR, being your own janitor, right? You're answering your own phones. You're doing all the admin tasks, all the reception tasks, all the paralegal tasks. And your number one job is to bring clients in the door, to bring revenue in, right? So you are putting a lot of your time, especially when you first go out on your own, into doing that. And we have talked so much on here about marketing and what might work for you, whether it's, in-person things, finding referral partners, your network, blogging, making videos, social media, if you're doing a newsletter, right? There's so many options for marketing, and you need to figure out what's going to work for you because your number one job, again, is to bring money in the door. I don't care how great of a lawyer you are. If you're not bringing money in the door, your law firm's going to flop. It doesn't matter how great of a lawyer you are. And that's just one thing that I did not appreciate when I went out on my own, opened my own law firm, is that being a lawyer is not going to be number 1 or number 2 or number 3 on my tasks. Right? Like there's so much more that goes into running the business. Your law firm is a business first, and legal services is what you provide, but you have to run that as a business. So that was number 1 for me, and one that I really want to ensure that you understand as well when you're going out on your own in your own law firm. All right. Number 2, if you are coming from another firm and you're going out on your own, or if you're a government attorney, or if you're in-house, whatever your role is, if you have a role as an attorney before going out on your own, you may not quite fully appreciate the art of bringing clients in and making the clients appear, because your prior firm may have had the marketing in place. Maybe that firm's been around for 50 years, right? They had the efforts in place to bring clients in, but now it's all on you. You are responsible for every dollar that comes into that firm. And that's great on the one hand because, you keep your overhead low. Most of that money can go into your pocket, right? It can go to you. But on the flip side of that is that if you have a slower month, you are directly going to feel that hit in your pocketbook, right? And so ensuring that you have a plan in place to do the marketing, to bring the clients in. And even when you're busy, When you are busy in your law firm, you cannot be so busy that you don't keep feeding the pipeline. You need to keep feeding the pipeline so that in 6 months from now, you are still busy. I am very busy in my law firm. I still continually do different tasks and activities to make sure that I stay busy so that in 2027 and 2028, like you're planting those seeds now. You don't get to watch them grow in real time. You plant the seeds, next season is when you realize the benefit of that, right? And so ensuring that you are intentional about your marketing efforts and keeping that as a priority even when you're busy. Do not get so busy in the business of running your law firm, or even worse, working in your law firm and not on your law firm, because there is a difference. Don't get so busy working in your law firm and getting so caught up in the day-to-day of just getting the files moving that you are pushing your marketing efforts and bringing clients in the door onto the back burner. That can never be a back burner task for you, because your job is to always make sure clients and revenue are coming in that door. Okay, I think that was clear. Let's move on. Number 3, and this also has to do with clients. Not every client is your client. Not every client is going to be the right person for you and for your firm. Just because somebody wants to hire you as their lawyer, you also get to decide, do you want to accept them as your client? Do not be so desperate for revenue that you're taking on anyone who walks in the door. And you might say, well, Darcel, you just told me in number 2 that I've got to bring money in the door. And now you're telling me to not accept every client. Well, not all money is good money, right? And this is a lesson that I can tell you over and over again until I'm blue in the face. You're not going to fully get it or follow my advice until you're in it, until you've been burned by that bad client, right? Then you're going to finally start to make those changes. So this might be one that, even though I tell you, you're going to have that lived experience to be able to truly say, oh, okay, I see that now. I see that client's red flag. I know that I should not take that client on. It's not worth the money, right? You can have a client that's, a $5,000 or $10,000 client, but they consume so much of your time, especially if you're flat fee, right? So much of your time, so much of your energy. They're rude to your staff. They're constantly, demanding, and you'll get to kind of learn this. If you're a new lawyer, you may not fully be able to see these red flags. If you have been practicing for a number of years and are going out on your own, you have a better sense of what is and is not a good client, what client's going to be a problem client. There are many a time where someone may want to hire me and I'm not a good fit for a wide array of reasons, right? And I know we've gone over in prior videos kind of like red flags and kind of like what my red flags are for clients. For each attorney, each law firm, and each practice area, those red flags will be different. But one that comes to mind for me is like, if you're rude to my staff. If you're rude to my staff, I won't work with you. And if you're a current client and you're rude to my staff, you get fired. That has just come from, I will tell you and be honest, that has come from me putting up with a bunch of crap from clients before. And it's not appropriate. And I think it sends a message to your staff also that you're not going to tolerate somebody treating them that way or talking to them in a certain way. So you will figure out what your red flags are. But once you figure that out, make sure you follow that boundary that you have set. And that boundary should be, if a client has these red flags, I do not take that client on. Or if they're a current client and you weren't able to really screen them beforehand, but then these red flags pop up, you have to be okay with stepping back, terminating that relationship, and letting them go on to find a new attorney that might be a better fit for them, because it's not you, it's not your office. And so, yes, we want to bring revenue in the door, but not every client who wants to hire you is the right client for you. All right, number 4. You are going to have these times, and I let me say, I've been an attorney for almost 17 years now. I've been out on my own I'm 2 weeks shy of my 10-year anniversary of having my own law firm. Okay. You are going to have times and moments and days when you're just like, I don't know what the F I'm doing. You're going to feel like an imposter. I still have these moments after all these years where I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this. I don't know this legal issue that has come up. Or I don't know how to deal with something internal in the office. That's going to happen. That is normal. That doesn't make you an imposter, okay? That's not a thing, okay? That's just a natural part of the journey of, I want to say, being a law firm owner, and then I want to take a step back and say being a business owner. But then we can go back even further and just say in life, right? Like, you're going to have moments where you don't know what to do. Something comes up and you're just like, I have no idea. And I think it goes back to where remembering that you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have all the answers. Like, for instance, if you have a client who has a legal question and you don't know the answer, it's okay to sometimes not know the answer and to have to tell the client, like, I'm going to look into this and research this and get back to you. Or I'm going to speak with my colleague and follow up with this, and make sure you actually follow up with the client afterwards and get them an answer, right? Whatever it may be, if it's good news, bad news, whatever, right? But you don't have to always have all the answers. And what I tell you over and over again is that all you need to know is like the immediate next step. So, okay, maybe I don't know this legal issue, but I do know where to find it. I'm on a number of listservs. I have colleagues that I can go to. We have case law, we have statutes, like wherever you need to go to find the answer, just knowing that you know where to go to find the answer. Or if it's not even a legal issue, maybe in your business and you are having, if you're like me and having some tech issues right now in your law firm, and I am not a tech guru by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I am not the tech girl at all. Okay, this is the issue I'm having. I'm going to troubleshoot on my own. If I can't figure it out, I know where I can go to get somebody to help me, who's a professional, who does IT and can help solve this problem for me, right? You're going to have those moments where you don't know what to do, where you feel lost. And this is going to let's just get to number 5 because this ties in so beautifully with number 4. Because number 5 that I have on my list is that you're going to feel alone because you are alone, especially when you first go out on your own. It's probably just you, right? If you're working from home and you're home alone, if you have a brick and mortar and you're by yourself, like even if you have like spouse and family, like they don't always quite understand what you're dealing with, what's going on, what's on the line, right? Because you're running this business, but you're also a lawyer, right? And you have certain obligations to fulfill. So lesson number 5 is that you need your people. You need to have your outlets. And so I think this ties into number 4 because I know that there's some questions I'll put like on a listserv. And then there's some questions that I will not put on a listserv because I know I'll be read for filth if I put it on a listserv. But you know what? I've got a good group of, depending on the issue, I've got like 8 attorneys that I can go to. Depending on how like deep the issue is, I've got like 3 attorneys that I could go to with any question with no judgment. They will pick up my phone call and talk me through whatever the issue is I'm going through. And I've had to make those calls, and I have also received those calls from my colleagues who trust me and know that they can pick up the phone and call me if they have, again, a legal issue, a law firm issue, an employee issue, like whatever's going on. So you need to find those people for yourself. So number 4 and number 5 kind of go hand in hand. They're 2 different issues though. Number 4 is that you're going to have times when you feel like you don't know what to do, you don't know what you're doing, and you need to have your people to be able to go to. And that is normal to have those feelings. Number 5 is that You need to have your people, your outlets, your places to go as you're navigating going out on your own, because it can be very lonely. And if you are like me, I have shared, I am an introvert. For my Myers-Briggs, I am an ISTJ. And this can be a challenge for us introverts because you have to get out there and you don't want to get out there, right? That is uncomfortable, it's scary, it's overwhelming to walk into a networking event, not know anybody, and to think, oh God, I'm going to have to meet 30 people and small talk with 30 people. I only have so many topics that I can small talk on. You got the weather, got some traffic, maybe some travel plans. If it's the season, maybe the Seahawks. Then I'm about out of small talk topics. I cannot do it. And I have so much respect when I see my extroverted colleagues who can just talk about anything. I'm just like, how do you do that? How do you do that? I don't know how to do that. I can't do it, and it's exhausting to do that. It takes a lot out of me. It's very draining. But just know, for the success of not just your law firm, but also you as a law firm owner, it is vital that you get out there and you find your people. And I think just for your overall well-being, to get out there and find your people. And so what I tell my introverts is, if you're going to an event and you don't know anyone, don't think of it as, oh gosh, I'm walking into this room and there's 100 people in here and I've got to talk to all these people. No. My goal is to find 2, maybe 3 people that I can have a conversation with that is more than just small talk. And then after the event, I'm following up with them. I'm sending them an email, I'm sending a LinkedIn invite to actually connect with them, to have coffee with them, to have lunch with them, to actually create that relationship that's going to be long-term, right? And so if you approach it where you only need to meet 2 people versus look at this room of people that don't know anyone and I'm overwhelmed, that's pretty daunting. And again, even for me, even after all these years, I still have those same feelings. And so make sure you find your people in real life. But also, aside from real life, your, books from attorneys who've gone out on their own. If there's bloggers that you like who talk about opening and running a law firm. If you like to watch YouTube videos, make sure you're following me or others talking about opening your own law firm, right? You need to be in spaces where you feel seen and know that you're not the only one. Sometimes I'll have, lawyers will comment and be like, I feel like you're talking about me. It's yeah, we have the same experiences, right? A lot of these things happen to so many of us. And I tell my law firm owners all the time, there's no one issue you're going to encounter as a law firm owner that somebody else hasn't already dealt with. So if you get out there and find your people and have your trusted people that you can go to and make that phone call, send that email when you're struggling or having an issue or just having a really sucky day, or someone to share your wins with. Maybe you had your highest revenue month ever and you want to celebrate that with somebody who understands, that's freaking amazing, because they know what you've gone through to get to that point, right? And so making sure that you have your people and you're making a conscious and intentional effort to get out there and find them is number 5 on that list. Again, these are all things that I wish someone told me before I went on my own, but also if they did tell me before I went on my own, I probably would not have fully appreciated it until I was in it. So the same may be true for you as well. I can tell you this, you can hear it, you can, process it, but until you've actually gone out on your own and had to navigate these things, it may not quite fully click until you've dealt with it. And so you'll know oh, that's what Darcel was talking about. That's what she meant when she said that I needed to know my red flags and not take on clients who have red flags, right? So, all right, so that's the 5. So if you're going out on your own, I'm giving you this heads up as far as kind of what to expect. Because when I went out on my own, I didn't really know what to expect. And people weren't like talking about that side of practicing law and having your own law firm and like the business side of it and all like the things that come along with it on like the inside of the law firm, right? And the people who were talking about it weren't people who looked like me or had experiences like me, didn't have the same journey that I had, right? And so being able to find the people that you connect with, that you resonate with, to know that you're not in this alone and you have people there cheering you on and people to look to for support and just resources as you navigate through going out on your own. And so even with these lessons learned, like even though I learned all these the hard way. Like let's be honest. Like I learned all these things the hard way, but 100%, like I would go out on my own again if I was to do it all over again. And if you want to go out on your own, you should do it as well. And so, but these are just some things that you might not be prepared for and not realize you're going to be coming with it, but still like worth it. And I think one of my goals for you, if you want to go out on your own, is that I want you to have a successful law firm faster than I did, right? It's like a lot of the things that I navigated, like I fumbled my way through. And again, learned a lot of lessons the hard way. And so I want to be able to come on here and kind of tell you about like what I have found that works, what doesn't work, some tips behind the scenes, what it's actually like to actually own and run a law firm. And I don't want you to reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. And so whatever I can do to try and fast track that for you. So if these tips are kind of what you're looking for, you're going out on your own, or maybe you already are a solo and you're navigating that journey, make sure you stick around. We have a lot of videos here talking about running a law firm, taking care of yourself. So make sure you stick around. I'd appreciate a like if you're so inclined, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.